October 18th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 4. Welcome back to Ace Attorney. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. God damn it. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Sorry, one voice. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past there are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. Other production staff were in the employee area until noon. And after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. But after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m. Production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to the whole thing again? I think I can probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Go on. This case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Wendy Oldbag. Just call me Grandma. Even when I was young, I was an old bag. Still how other children make fun of me because, you know, believe it, the captain was this boy, and he called me an old bag. Well, objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate the day of the murder, correct? Yes, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. There isn't any ventilation shaft with the gate taken off of it, is there? You may begin your testimony. Reminded me that I think it might have been a sewer grate, but regardless. Sure is one hell of an old bag. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through since morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when I got to the guard station. At the main gate, I was at the main gate from then until 5 o'clock. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked by me right at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed toward the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I know where I'm going. Let me get this straight, old bag. Miss Old Bag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo-World Tokyo. Miss Old Bag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course. Didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Mr. Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Oh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. Prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Huh? Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at the picture. You can see he is dragging his leg. See? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Trip and fall. I'd say more so she saw him was my thing. Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. you didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your... wrong words. You may continue your testimony. He broke a prop. Sure did. His own samurai spear. Samurai spear, the murder weapon? Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write this down in the court record. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Just the neck. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot, okay? I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me. Which is? Where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit is Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. You're sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but you have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nor in this photo can you see Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else, not caught on camera, could have killed Mr. Hammer. You have to consider that possibility also. And allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time before Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. 2:30 p.m., true? Yep. Target this year before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? Old windbag sure has balls. Or, well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details, after all. Or, for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. I don't really know what I'm supposed to get here. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quite right, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. You're suspicious looking, right? How do you know that? Eh? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective. And then, after some rubbish about it being a secret, pal, he told me everything. The detective Gumshoe shares his fellow officer's fondness for donuts. I don't know what to... Well, before you got to the guard station. Oh, so that's how I do that. You mean before 1 o'clock? Why, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. I think I already said that. Are you sure about that? You get objected? Yeah. I didn't even mean to hit that time. Are you absolutely sure? Sure, yeah, I'm not suspicious, okay. There's gotta be something here I'm just not seeing. I don't want to, like, fully object with one of these and then get it wrong. I have no idea what I'm supposed to use. Guess this. Look at this photograph one more time. The photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, there is, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, automatically takes a picture. Here, I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right, anyway. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Well, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo printed out the words October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Really, Sonny. Actually, I knew that too. I was wondering how, like, I'm supposed to object with this, but I guess I just happened to pick the right sentence to line it with. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2. The computer only held data for 1 photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order, order. Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not 1, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there's only data for 1 of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. Also, I'm wondering, why did it only take a picture of him if everybody else flooded over there to the scene? And also for what's-his-name to get there in the first place? Unless, like, the camera only was active during that time frame. Because, like, shouldn't it have captured Hammer walking over there? Wash your mouth, you whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help. Huh? Believe me, I want to. I don't know what this means either. Some slump you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai? Oh, well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I have only just remembered it. Very convenient. Right. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Well, you can tell by looking at the faces for the most part. For the most part? This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious-looking Will Powers photo, did I? I think she's missing the point. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in? Those were your words. Well, you must know there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and? They're kids, children, whippersnappers. Kids? So, on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order. Let me get this straight. So, 2 people passed by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield a samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already starting to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. No forgetting vital information this time. October 18th, 11:08 a.m., District Court. Defendant Lobby, number 3. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me straight, were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest.
So who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo?
How should I know? Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really.
What? You should take better care of that stuff.
Couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now.
Nick! What are we gonna do?
First, we play for more time. Start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this.
Right. It'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day.
Right, but if you pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. Not optimistic at all, actually.
Hey, Nick, it's time.
Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't say it like that. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be any hard evidence. There's still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right. Great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed the murder? Security lady? I guess? It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in the picture. Means whoever was in the suit knew about that morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There's only one person other than Mr. Powers and Hammer who knew about that injury. The security lady, Oldbag.
What? Whippersnapper?
Order, order. Is this true, Oldbag?
Oldbag? That's Mrs. Oldbag to you.
Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in this costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes II, baby. That's odd. Is this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Can he usually jump up with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time.
What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, you'll just sit there and do something.
That's my move. Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way. Press further. Very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case. Can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed.
That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade schooler though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it?
That doesn't matter. When I was at that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright?
That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or is it to be nice to the kids and mean to your elders, they? Whippersnapper. I have proof. Proof?
Indeed. Let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder?
I'm gonna say it's where the piercing was done, right? This is my proof. Damn it. Yeah, kid couldn't have gotten in. The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key?
I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this?
I went with the autopsy because my mindset was a kid couldn't pierce him straight through the chest. It'd have to be at a very upward angle for a kid to do it. Unless he was stabbed while he was on the ground, but... Yeah, I don't know. That's just what my original mindset was.
Well, would the witness care to comment on this?
The Windbag. Speechless. This has got to be a first.
Very well. The court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Wendy. What was her name?
Something old bag, Your Honor.
Then the prosecution will look further into this old bag before we continue. That is all. Court is adjourned.
Oh, wait a second. I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me. I'm talking. Oh, great. Stop the presses. The Windbag wants to talk.
Miss Oldbag, what is this all about? You omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about?
By who? I mean, it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk?
Well, testify.
Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. I said they had nothing to do with it, see? They told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, then I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination.
Who were those people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? You should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run through the action scene without a director?
Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that.
Where? Or where?
The Studio 2 trailer.
Studio 2? There was a Studio 2? Yes, there was. I've been wanting to go there this whole time.
Well, if you look at the gate map, here it is. Go through the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over.
Oh, the path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked him my questions, but we're good. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director, the producer, and some bigwigs were all present. Yet as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of.
I understand, Your Honor.
This ends the day's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. October 18th, 1:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I?
We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. You have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. Now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have you figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been Old Windbag?
What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers.
Poor Old Windbag. Kinda feel sorry for her.
Well, she wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's get down to the studios.
Right, we'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. To be continued. So, thank you everybody for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to see the next episode when it goes up as we get back to investigating the trial of the Steel Samurai. What's it called? I think this episode's called like Turnabout Samurai, something like that. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.